Hey guys, this is a no makeup Saturday kind of vlog. I'm doing it without doing anything special, so how's that? But special were the reactions that I got to the chocolate chip cookies that I took to South Tube 3. I made about 9 dozen of them, and they were all gone like by the next morning. So I promised Country Comes to Town, Jim and Ed of Grams and Poppy, that I would make a video showing how I made my semi-world famous chocolate chip cookies. So, starting with the ingredients, we've got 2 eggs, a teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder, a tablespoon of vanilla, 2 sticks of butter, which is a ½ pound. If I use salted butter, I don't add salt to it. If I use unsalted butter, then I add a teaspoon of salt. 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and a bag of, I like Nestle's milk chocolate morsels for chocolate chip cookies. I don't like semi-sweet for some reason. Okay, so first step, add the butter and the brown sugar to your mixer. I'm sure you could do it by hand or with the hand mixer if you want. Just the KitchenAid is what I've got, and that's what I tend to use for most everything. Exciting stuff. Okay, that's about how long you do the brown sugar and the butter. Then you add your 2 eggs, and I like to crack them in a separate bowl because if a little piece of shell goes into it, I only have to get it out of this bowl instead of dealing with getting it out of the sugar and the flour, or the sugar and the butter. So 2 eggs. Okay, at this point I usually scrape down a little bit. Johnny, anything exciting going on in your life?
Nope.
You went to your school's homecoming football game last night. How was that?
Good.
Did you guys win?
Yeah.
Cool.
42-7.
Ouch. Good job. Okay, so after I've added the eggs to the brown sugar and butter, I add the baking soda and baking powder. And if I use salt, like I said, this is the point at which I'd add that. And I add the vanilla. Always likes to jump up and get me. Okay. At this point you've got a very soft, soupy mixture. And this is when you're adding your flour. We all know me and how I get flour everywhere when I bake. I'm going to try it this way today so I don't get covered in it at least because I don't want to change clothes again. So at this point, 3 cups of flour goes in. Johnny, you can go ahead and pause it for a minute while I do this. Okay, we've mixed in our 3 cups of flour. Didn't make too much of a mess, but it made enough. Okay, now I just add in the 1 bag of milk chocolate chips. Okay, and that's that. We all know how I feel wonderful about touching cookie dough. Kind of grosses me out. Keeps it cleaner or more hygienic to use an ice cream scoop. So you can use whatever size you want. Just adjust your baking time for how big your scoop is. Obviously a bigger scoop is going to take longer to bake. Smaller scoop will cook faster. At this point, I pull out my cookie sheet. I've talked about this in other videos I've used making cookies, but I use, if you listen, it's a 2-layer cookie sheet. They're not pretty on the bottom, but they're insulated, so there's a layer of air between the bottom sheet and the top sheet, and cookies pretty much never burn this way. So, and this one's been well used, well loved. So this size sheet bakes about 9 of this size cookie. You want to give it enough room to bake and have the air circulate around it. Also, this way your hands don't get all goopy and gross in between batches. At this point, we're going to go ahead and turn off the camera, but I forgot to mention the oven has been preheating at 350 degrees. And I can't give you an exact time for your oven on how long to bake them, but I'll show you what they look like when I pull them out, and I'll tell you how long I've had them in the oven at that point. I hardly ever use a timer on these. I just
watch it.
I pull them out when they look the right way to me. And they finish cooking on the sheet once you pull them out. So anyway, we'll be back in a few minutes and let you know how long. But Johnny, this is what they look like at this point. Looks like a bunch of big scoops of chocolate chip cookie dough, which is what it is. See you in a minute. Okay, this is one extra little bonus tip that I'm going to throw in at the end. I saw this method of cutting up apples several years ago, and I've always thought it was so cool for cutting apples. I always hated as a kid when I get apple slices, and it's like the middle part where you're cutting out the core is like all just cut stupid and stuff. So I wanted to show you look at how huge this apple is. Yeah. It's a Fuji. And I got it at the grocery store yesterday, and they had huge Fujis. I mean, it's almost as big as your head. But, so I take a Fuji, get the sticker off. I use a melon baller when I'm cutting my apples. Do you guys? So anyway, okay, you cut, I'm down here.
Alright.
Cut the apple in half, like that. You might want to back up just a little bit. I use the melon baller to scoop out the middle. So you waste very little of your apple this way. Ta-da! It takes like 12 seconds. It makes it so much easier. I like it better than using an apple corer because you just do. And you know, a lot of people spend big money on buying fruit that's already cut up and prepared for them. I don't like that. I would rather cut my own. I know that it hasn't been dipped in preservatives or anything else that way. And this way, when I get big apples like this, I can just cut up a couple of them. The boys can eat some with their breakfast in the morning, throw some in a snack, have it for after school. I find that less gets wasted this way. And Johnny, you like just having fresh cut up fruit sitting around, huh?
Yeah.
What are your favorite fruits?
Apples.
And you like grapes? Green grapes? Red grapes?
Green grapes.
Pineapple?
Pineapple, yeah.
Okay. This is how much came out of that one apple, and you saw it took like probably less than a minute to cut it up, rather than spending the money to buy the baggies of pre-sliced apples when you go places. Look at how many snacks that could make for a family. Anyway, that's it. Back to baking the cookies. Bye. Okay, I paid attention to the time this time on how long I baked them, and this is how they look at 15 minutes. And to look at it, you'd think they're totally undercooked right now, which they are, but they're going to sit on the cookie sheet for about 5 more minutes, and the heat is still generating through them, and it finishes cooking them a little bit more. After the 5 minutes, I'll take them off the cookie sheet and put them on the cooling rack, and they stay really soft if you undercook them a little bit. So 15 minutes, 350, 15 minutes, 350, and you have some nice chewy cookies. That's it. Have a good Saturday, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So this is how they look after they've been cooling on the pan for 5 minutes. You can tell that they do finish cooking a little bit more. And like I said, they stay very soft. The top looks broken in half. Hey man, somebody stole a piece of my cookie.
But they're good. They're very good.
Says spaghetti.
Okay, well I didn't make a video on the spaghetti.
I know.
Well, we were baking cookies, ones that were stolen. Mm-hmm. We also made a pot of spaghetti sauce, so maybe we'll make that again someday. Yeah? Ooh, you got a bright light over your head. There you go. Nope. Yep, nope. Bye.